Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of CEO and Market Expert Interviews. I'm your host, Lucian. Some of you know me as Triangle Investor from social medias. Always glad to have close friends and people that I respect in my show, and today that is Kasper Rasmussen, aka USELINK. Kasper, welcome, mate, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Lucian, for being back here. We even scheduled for Sunday, but I got a little bit of an illness, so we had to postpone it till today here. But I'm excited to be here and show, just my views on some of the uranium stocks and the uranium sector basically. Where are we and what could we hopefully see in the near future? So I'm glad to be back on.
Thank you, buddy. I look forward to hear and see what you have for us. I always say that my weak side is technical analysis. I love it. I'm taking the advantage of it, but never went beyond basics. But that is why I'm your subscriber and some others as well. All great guys, you, Patrick, Steve Penny, Andy. I can name a few definitely. We discussed, you and I, on how uranium could be on the cusp of third major move, and I would like if we can describe it to our both mine and your subscribers what is going on with the charts, with the coverage first of all of URA and some other ratios, as well as some uranium equities. So enough babbling from me, please, Casper. Let's start with the URA, and then we will go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, I think there has been two major buying opportunities when you're talking very long-term entries in uranium for the past, basically since we bottomed out in 2020. That was the late 2020. I can just pull up the charts here so people have
Please do.
something to look at. I think that's why we're all here. That is the charts really. So um, again, you can see that basically for like 10, 15 years we were in a huge bear market for uranium, and we will not go too much into that legacy, but we will basically talk from when we started to enter the bull market. In my opinion, happened late 2020. We had this major flush down here. That was the COVID spill, marking the end of the bear market. Usually at the end of trends, you get a big wick to the upside or the downside. In this case, we had a huge flush, and then we snapped back like a V shape. And this, to me, was the first big entry in uranium. Also, where I purchased, I think 80% of my uranium holdings in this zone here, late 2020. We then rallied heavily. This was a fun time, by the way, all the way up to the big high in 2021.
Yeah.
And from there on, we actually had 18 months worth of emotional stress, you can say, where we had basically nothing happened. We went sideways to down. We had some excitements along the way, and this was just a huge wedge pattern in the making. And the third big entry, when you're talking long-term entries,
Mhm.
was the summer of 2023, when we started to see a little bit of rally here, and we quickly saw massive resistance at the triangle high, which we're still fighting to some degree, by the way. Um, Now we actually, even though we had this, we did have a big breakdown here, which was also magnified with the yen carry trade, where you actually had, I think, 3 trading days. You can
Mhm.
see it here, where the entire market, we're talking also tech, we're talking everything, got hammered very hard there. And we actually dropped 20% in 3 days. So that was a little bit, magnified by that yen carry trade. But now we're actually, even though I still think people are very emotional damage to the trade here, but we're actually on the cusp, of my opinion, the potential third big entry when it comes to the URA chart. And zooming
Big
out here,
words, Casper, big
yeah,
words.
I know, and if I'm not correct, people will be all over me, but I will not get the same, when if I am correct. So, but
Yeah, but
anyways,
you are not preaching that. The charts are preaching that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I say if, right? It's all if then this happens. If not, of course, but it's not. I'm saying it's gonna happen. It looks like it very much, in my
Sure.
opinion.
Sure.
Looking back here, this could also be one of the big ones. We have actually a major, big cup and handle with a little bit of a sidebar here with the yen carry trade. So we could be actually completing a 10-year cup and handle also very closely here. Again, the timing of it, could it be in 3 days? Sure. Could it be in like 6 weeks? Of course it can. The timing is difficult. Um, but you can see here I have a what's that like in that's like six months or so here of a chart here with also this little extra handle on
Hmm.
the handle here. So again, if in my opinion, if we clear roughly 33, 34, this completes many short-term setups, but also the big long-term 10-year.
Yeah.
Right now, we are sitting and testing actually. You can see today we're testing the 2021 high here, 31.6. If we zoom out here, you can see we're actually hitting it basically to the T today. So ideally, that holds. You can see it here. We're testing it today, 31.6.
Hmm.
So ideally, we hold here, and we can actually, for the first time, really have a confirmed um, retest of that level. We have had a few here, but they didn't hold. This one hopefully holds, and we can actually rally. So look for a strong move past 30, 33, 34. In my
Okay.
opinion, that is when things could look really, really bright for the uranium sector. And also when we look at some of the stocks itself, they are also potentially breaking out of some 10-year trend lines that is major resistance now, hopefully can flip support. So
Yeah, we will
uh,
cover that as well,
yeah,
definitely.
so I'm personally again a little bit excited here. Again, timing wise, always difficult, but the chart will tell when it is ready to hopefully move to the upside. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, right now I'm looking to the upside. Of course, if we are wrong and we are gonna come down again, that is when that theory or that take could be untrue. So again, we have to look at both sides all the time. Otherwise, you're just having too much bias
Of course.
into it. And again, that's something that I've learned for sure for the past few years that you have to let the chart speak and not your own personal opinions because the chart does not care what you think really. You just have to follow them and hopefully and take advantage when they give you the opportunity. So
Yeah, yeah. You have some ratios for us as well.
yeah, exactly. I have what I think is the most undervalued ratio. Not of all time, but definitely in the uranium sector. Because if you look up, normally I have a picture here of a pattern called the Vyckoff accumulation pattern, and this to me is textbook Vyckoff. And what actually happened here, late September, early October, is that the last spring you can say of that pattern has been sprung to the upside, meaning if this pattern holds true, and we can zoom out here and we can go to the monthly, I guess is probably better. Typically, you have when this one is when this spring is finally letting go, you're going to see something like this. If you open, you can Google the chart, by the way.
Yeah.
So that is the Vyckoff accumulation pattern, and until today, everything is basically textbook. So hopefully, the final stage, and the stage when we will see all the pretty numbers, could be unfolding here, and we could have like 2, 3, 4 years worth of a lot of upside, hopefully, with a little pause at the end, at the middle, in the middle of that
Mhm.
move, going into the highs of the ratio over here. So again, I suggest your members to check out that ratio. You can Google it; you'll find it straight away, and you can actually see that it is pretty scary how precise that is when you look at that ratio. So
Yeah, and
very excited.
actually it
Yeah.
coincides with the uranium supply gap of your
Oh
chart.
yeah, could be. Yeah, exactly. The supply gap ends there in a few years. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's great. That's great. I really like it.
Also, just we won't talk much about it, but again, we have the URM divided by the uranium spot price. Again, also you can see here we have again it hasn't been broken yet, but we also have a 2, 3 year trend line going on here. Hopefully, when we break, you at that point have the 100% pure play ETF also breaking out against the uranium spot price again, fueling hopefully again what we are all waiting for and hoping for. Um, so again, when the ratio breaks roughly 0.65, that is when things looks really good again for the miners. Because almost always when you have the miners breaking out against their metal, it could be gold, it could be platinum. That is a scenario where you have when you are in a bull market because you can't have the metal go down more than the miners if you are in a bear market. That very rarely happens. So again, good things happen above 0.65 in this ratio.
Excellent.
Should we talk some miners, I guess?
Yeah,
Which
Casper, I
one do
would
you
like
want
to,
to?
we could cover miners. So maybe let's start with bigger, then go to the lower scale. Let's start
Sure.
with Chemical, maybe.
Oh, the big guy. Uh, Again, I have cleaned a lot of the stuff here. I have to switch to another template. 1 second here.
Sure.
But I have removed a lot of the lines here just for this purpose. And again, just to show you, again, people has been very people are not, I guess, not satisfied with the moves that has happened in uranium. But again, if you look at the big four, in my opinion, you're talking Cameco, NextGen, UEC, and then you have the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust.
Yeah.
The worst one of those is the Sprott Physical. I think it's up like 500% from the lows. You are having Cameco up 10x. I think NextGen is up 15x, and UEC I think is also 10x or something like that, maybe a little bit more. So the big guys has done really well. And that's also what you see almost always in the early stages of a bull market. You have the big players doing well. And then it tickles down to the mid caps. And then at the end of it, you will have all the exploration, the very low cap do insane stuff at the end of this whole move here.
Yeah.
So Cameco is, again, I haven't put much on here, but we're still trending up heavily. We're
Chemical is on the
above.
all-time high, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're actually sitting above all-time highs.
Yeah.
Again, trying to break out here. We haven't confirmed because we need some sort of retest here. But again, overall, the big guys are doing really well. It is so right now, I think most people are maybe a little too much overweight into the very small guys, which we will look at in a minute here, and they are performing very badly. Well, they're still up from the lows from 2020, but compared to the rest of the sector, they're doing really poorly. They will
Yeah.
have their moments, but right now it is the big guys, and very soon I think the mid tier, we're talking energy fuels and those guys, they will take the heavy lifting very soon here. So yeah, Cameco is doing still well.
Yeah. I see.
So it's again,
But
usually I have more
there
on
are
here, but
some fears
yeah.
among investors that say that Chemical and Action hit all-time highs, that we could see a short-term sell-off over here. What are the charts telling you about the short-term odds?
I think we had the sell-off. Again, we hit the all-time high to perfection here back in May
Yeah.
2024, and you sold up 40%.
Yeah.
And now you've rallied back again here, attacked it, and then you broke here last week. So I think
It
and you're
shows
correct.
strength.
Yeah, normally when you hit previous all-time highs, especially 15-year-old all-time highs, you will see a pullback or people selling off, shorting, all that good stuff. Very normal. But again, we hit the all-time high and pulled back 40%,
Yeah.
and now we're actually trying to break. We have broken back above now trying to confirm. So yeah, Chemical looks insanely strong here. It doesn't mean that you are going to buy right here, but again, the overall long-term trend, at least as we speak here,
Yeah.
looks no
That
problem for me.
channel is
So
the beauty.
yeah, so it's
Sure. What about next gen?
next gen. Let's check out next gen here. Um, Again, you can. I just want to point out here some of the again. This is the lows here. I want to show you that from the lows to now, next gen is up 15x,
Ooh,
16x basically. Absolutely killing, right? You rarely get those kind of returns. But also we have to be, uh, you know, um, true to ourselves and say that basically very few people bought this here.
of
Very few
course.
people bought that. Again, we have to be fair.
Yeah.
But from the first big entries, again, you could talk, you had two entries here. We are up again, still 400% in 4 years. Again, you're talking, huge numbers in very short period of time. So yeah, next gen doing really well here, sitting at all-time highs. Um, you can see here we're basically trying to break the highs from April, also
Mhm.
back when Cameco hit its all-time high. So
Mhm.
right now, next gen is just trying to break that, and then you're having fresh air on top. So yeah, I don't see any major downsides at the moment. Again, if we see some big technical breaks, of course that is different. But right now, again, the big guys are doing remarkably well, and hopefully they get more fuel when we break, these the URM divided by the spot price ratio.
Yeah,
So
that definitely looks good as well. Next gen looks good.
yeah,
UEC is also at all-time high, right?
yeah, exactly. I think almost all-time highs. So we're getting very close to all-time highs, which was back in 2007. And also you can again, the big entries, right? If you want to look at that, that's the big one there. Again, late 2020 was that big moment where you could really get some low risk, high reward entries in the uranium sector, and basically UEC is also up, 600% since. Again, 600% sounds a lot. It is, but we also have to, again, it has been tough, right? We have seen deep pullbacks, and you will see very deep pullbacks, further into the potential bull market here, because nothing goes in a straight line. And I also think Denison Mines back in the run up to 2007, they had 7 or 8 pullbacks of 40% and more. So again, people saying, "Oh, you were so lucky to be in that trade." I can tell you, the people back then, they were losing their hair, because it is very, very hard to be a commodity investor.
Yeah.
Platinum, uranium, gold, all that. It's very, very difficult, and you have to be really good at handling your emotions. But still here, sitting just below all-time highs for UEC. We have again trying to break again the early 2024 highs here. Yeah, we can even smack on a 30 weekly moving average here, still sloping up, trending heavily, nicely. So UEC is also doing some some good work here. Again, not saying that this is a buy right here, right now, but if you're long, you shouldn't be, right now at least, you shouldn't be worried at all. So
Yeah. We have next Laramide.
Laramide, yeah. These are, now we're dropping down to, again, 200 million. I think Cameco is 9 billion. So again, Laramide is 200 million. So we're now dropping down very, a lot lower in the market cap size. And Laramide is actually on the verge of a 15-year breakout here, maybe even 20, 15 years. You can see this very very pretty
Yeah.
channel here. Again, it goes back 15 years, and basically the COVID lows was, again, you can see ever since it started to respect that channel that was formed. So we're actually very close to a big breakout for Laramide. This is also the ones that I have high hopes for. So basically right now, anything above like 83, 85 cents here, you are talking a massive breakout for a very low market cap uranium company.
How
And
high can Casper? How high could it go in the short term? What did the charts tell you?
there is the triangle high here from that bull flag. So in my opinion, if it breaks like 83 cents here, we should see very rapidly 1.12
Okay.
resistance. And then we have, one second, I lost my volume here. There it is. And then you have this one over here, basically the channel high here, but also you can see we had some legacy major breakdowns over here,
Yeah.
where so again, I will think this can easily go also to $3 here.
That would.
But again, once we start to move here, you will also start to form, hopefully, again, the uptrend to some degree, right? So again, anything within this blue channel here is basically your uptrend and your resistance. So I think $3 at that point in time is very much likely.
Mhm.
Depending on how we break it and all that, then we can look for bigger targets. But again, just like Cameco and UEC and all those guys, they are sitting at all-time highs. So maybe again we can see similar things here, because you could argue that this is just again
Yeah.
one big rounding bottom. So again, you will have to sit in this for like 4 years before you get there. But again, I think that will be well worth the wait potentially.
Definitely
Again,
agree.
not saying it's going to happen, but the charts again could be pointing to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can also take a little bit of a quick measured move here. You can see this pole here and the flag, basically attacking roughly $3, but again with the channel high here. So you're talking some big measured moves, a big measured move here between like 3, maybe 4, when it gets going. So
Yeah. $4 from current 70 cents. That would be a very good gain.
yeah, exactly. But this one here, July, September, uh, that was very scary.
Yeah.
I questioned, the thesis many times when you started to see this big lower low here getting below the 30 weekly luckily we had a V shape. Otherwise, this could have been again
Mhm.
some very, very detrimental damages at that point in time. But luckily, it recovered quickly, and yeah, 84 cents, and we should be good to go.
Yeah. I presume that global atomic chart isn't that pretty, or
No,
maybe.
but we should look at it. We should look at it here. So no, global atomic again. It was actually a huge runner again
Yeah.
from the March 2020. 20x. I mean, come on, that's really really cool to have 20x. But you have also, if you haven't sold, you have just been losing from that high down to you lost 80%.
Yeah.
Again, Global Atomic with this whole Niger thing, that's the same as I think it's what is it, GXU, GoVX. They had
Yeah.
same issues with the
Yeah.
countries, so they have been done really poorly with that whole situation, the uncertainties, and basically right now there's no real reason to be in Global Atomic until maybe we clear this internal blue channel here. Then
Mhm.
again, if you want to get in, if you want to have a little bit of a speculative play,
Mhm.
that is probably your entry. Um, because we're still overall within a very large, I wouldn't call it a bull flag because the pole is so small, but again, within this channel here, and the break of that blue could mean that we could actually see some upside. But again, if you have been in Global Atomic, I understand that you have been missing out from the big gains from, again,
Yeah.
Denison Mines, Cameco, NextGen, and all those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully there will be a time for Global Atomic to do really well.
Sure. You mentioned Denison. We didn't cover Denison, right?
Nope, but we sure can. So so this is Denison Mines, the DML. So we are on the Toronto Exchange, and yeah, Denison, technically beautiful. Again, we have broken all the long-term stuff here. You can see we have been breaking along the way. We also have a little bit of a speculative chart here. Again, the breakout big retest where we tested the blue channel here, but also the 2007 trendline high. Right now, we're just again, just like some of the other miners, again trying to break that May
Mhm.
early 2024 high here. But overall, it looks really strong, and I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I've been talking about 4.4 here on the Denison Mines as big resistance, and the reason is if you look back here, look at how again it reacted before. Again, huge um, you know collapse here, and then we tested that again. So I'm expecting big resistance at 4.4. And if we can clear that, again, we are talking all-time highs because at that point in time, you're not having so much more, resistance left. So again, just like Laramid, if things go really well within the next few years, again, you can see all-time highs. But there will be big pullbacks along the way. Denison Mines already have had the first one here at the beginning, 50%. Then you had again 2021, 50%. This one was also roughly 50. So you got to be able to stomach that those pullbacks. They are not for the faint of heart. That is for sure. So
Yeah. I wanted to cover some juniors, exploration companies as well.
yeah,
Well, Myriad is exploration to development company, let's say. So let's cover Myriad. How is the chart looking for Myriad?
actually, Myriad, if you wanna get in early into a very small one, um, this is probably the one with the most pretty chart. That's also something that I've been said to my followers or my subscribers that Myriad is one where you can add again. You have to go small because again they can dilute quickly and all that. But again, Myriad is actually one that we don't have much data, but
Yeah.
the stuff that we have here is actually
Because
quite.
it's a relatively new story.
Yeah, exactly. 4 years we have at least data from. Um, And you can see we have this upsloping support here with a ceiling here, which has now flipped as support. So until proven otherwise, this is a beautiful breakout.
Mhm.
Maybe two retests here and trying to go higher. So me personally, I have a very tiny position. Again, if this goes to zero, let's say it does. Again, it's not the end of the world for me. But
Mhm.
you're also talking a company 25 million. Again, very small, but these are the ones that could really go 10x, 20x really quickly, just like we saw in 2020 as well.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, if you want to have a small player, I think Myriad is a perfect candidate for that job. Probably the best one, at least from the ones that I've seen and I remember. It's looking great. You can see volume is coming in as well here upon the breakout. So
Yeah,
looks
Myriad
good.
looks good fundamentally and technically as I see it.
Yeah. So again, we have some uptrends here as well, and basically as long as they hold, you're actually doing quite all right here. So
Yeah, yeah, great. Kasper, I would like to see more about Koza chart.
Kosa, it's not one that I follow a lot here, but again, just like I think Global Atomic, it has been underperforming heavily. Um, I th I want to go to here because we actually had a gap fill over here from 2023. Very messy chart overall.
Mhm.
This right here is actually not the worst looking. A little bit of a kind of a skewed cup and handle where we tried to break, tried to rally, but then we broke down below that high, tested it from below, and basically has been collapsing ever since, right? We are down from that retest that, again, we're down 60%. We do have a little bit of a channel going on here, which is probably the only takeaway that I can get here from this chart.
Okay.
So until that breaks, I guess you shouldn't, again, there's no reason to, in my opinion, to really be in Kosa because of that huge downtrend. 30 week is also still, hammering on that stock. So again, hopefully the gap fill here, as you can see, we are almost at the complete gap fill is the end of it. But yeah, we shall see. You could argue that you have, the big three impulses here, and this is the final.
Yeah,
Because
but isn't this double bottom?
yeah, for sure. Until proven otherwise, you could argue that this is double bottom, but then you have to get back above. Right here, the midpoint is roughly 24 cents. And if we get above here, you're actually having a projected move to like 30 cents. So again, uh, but
Yeah.
again, the pressure is to the downside, and it has to do a lot of hard work. Hopefully, if we see that breakout in the URA and the ratios, this one will pick up. But right now, there is again, if you want to, go fishing deeply into the barrel, I guess this one could be one for you. But again, it's a $10 million market cap company. So again, use very small sizing. At least that's my, personal experience because when they rip, you won't be able to sit in the position because all of a sudden, if you have initially used a big position, it's right now at that point in time it becomes very large, and these will have big pullbacks and swings, so you will not be able to withstand it. But also, if it goes bust for some reason, again, that will hurt you even more. So again, small sizes will do good things, even though it's a small company. So
That's great. Casper, we covered uranium, but I have a one wish that you fulfill me, and that is
sure.
how is silver looking? I'm curious to see
Silver.
how is silver
Let's see here. It
chart
did.
looking going forward, especially with this correction in the price.
Yeah, for sure. If one thing though, actually, the CEF, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, just for quick note here, actually pointed the top for gold and silver. So I'm actually using that one as a guide on,
Yeah,
going forward to see, when things are looking again choppy. But anyways, that's just one for the people to dive into. I know I have a lot of things going on here. We can go
yeah.
to the daily. Um, so actually, um, as basically as long as the 30 roughly $30 is holding, it's
Mhm.
all doing okay,
Okay.
doing fine. We do have the uptrend here that is also support. You can also see here November, we actually hit 30, the uptrend, and also we have a support coming from over here. So that was triple support. So what we as a bull should hope for is this to be a W bottom, and then we can
Mhm.
go higher. But right now it is mixed. You have short-term down pressure, but you have the long-term
Up.
trying to pressure it up here, and we shall see who wins here. But again, I know you have seen this many times. Zooming out here, the chart again looks again the big cup and handle. You have seen that many times.
Yeah.
It will play out. Definitely not tomorrow. This will take many years to play out. But yeah, this whole thing, in my opinion, the big bull started when we broke 26 on silver. That was my big. All right, this is no more looking for these. Yes, we are having these big drops when the US markets are opening, but they're happening a lot less, in my opinion, and also the effect is not as big as they were right here.
Yeah.
So 26 was a big one. So let's hopefully see how fast this can recover. Right now we're up like a 0.5% today. It doesn't mean much, but again, we are sitting at 30, so hopefully that holds.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Let's
but
wrap it up
short
with.
term, a little bit worried, maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say bearish, but under pressure long term. The weekly and monthly charts are very much intact still.
Okay. Let's wrap it up with silver. Kasper, thank you very much for coming to my show. Always good analysis. I always learn something. So let's do this more often, as we spoke before, and we should really do this more often. Thank you for your analysis.
Yeah, thank you, Lucian. And yeah, we started to talk both you and I when you started to do the YouTube and like 2 years ago. So again, just want to congratulate you on your channel. I think you're at 20K, 25 maybe. I can't remember, but I know how hard it is to grow and to do the work. So again, congratulations to having this big audience, and it's well deserved in my opinion. So
Thank you very much. It's not 25K still, but nevertheless, but your channel is really impresses me. And how did you grow in this couple of months? And it's a 1 or 2 year trip for you, and you really nailed it. How can people reach out to you, and how can people become your subscribers?
yeah, I have my X or Twitter account, at USELINK INV, where I post daily stuff. And then, as you mentioned, I think half a year ago, I started the Substack, where I post daily updates on uranium, on gold, oil, Bitcoin, basically mostly related to commodities, trying to take advantage. But also, as we talked about in the early stage of this video, commodities is extremely difficult to get right, but also to sit in. So we're trying to do the best, and so yeah, that is at Substack, also using INV, and then I do from time to time stuff on YouTube as well. Not as much lately because I do most of the stuff on the Substack, but Twitter and Substack at USELINK INV is my preferred go-to.
I urge people to see it. Casper, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.